Walmart made $572.8 billion United States dollars in revenue this year. Why do they still pay minimum wage? I know our anti-work agrees with you. But if you're ever trying to convince normies that this is an issue, I bring up that Walmart is the #1 employer for Medicaid and food stamps. Roughly 70% of federal aid beneficiaries work full-time, meaning that Walmart relies on taxpayers to pay the employees enough just to be able to live. Each Walmart costs taxpayers an average of $900,000, $1.75 each year through this subsidization of their wages. Walmart then turns around and uses tax loopholes to avoid paying the taxes that fund programs like Medicaid and SNAP, food stamps. This all to make sure they net maximum profit possible. And they do so off the backs of taxpayer dollars. And until we have federal requirements for employers to pay living wages to all employees, taxpayer money will continue to subsidize private corporate profits. Hope this helps anyone reading if you're ever on this topic with someone who has no empathy for these workers. I've found this framing tends to be fairly effective when talking to conservatives. Because shareholders' greed. Revenue is not the same as profit. I am sure they made a crazy amount of profit though. Just wanted to point out that there is a difference between the two. But to answer the original question, greed and people fill the positions, accepting the minimum wage. Because workers don't have unions. This is what happens when you leave it up to the corporations to take care of their employees. Revenue does not equals net profit. What does revenue have to do with profit? So you are looking at just revenue. I am not sure how much Walmart made in profit. Maybe it is a ton, but looking at revenue is flawed. That doesn't take into consideration operating costs, rent, salary, and so many other things. If you are looking at corporate greed, look at their annual profit. Walmart doesn't pay a living wage in most locations for the majority of their employees. However, saying they pay minimum wage is inaccurate for most of their stores. $10, $11 is still laughably low for what the average retail employee does and deals with in a day. And it does not equate to a living wage. But it's higher than federal minimum wage. Not at all trying to defend them. But I think we should be more accurate when discussing these things. Walmart made $572 billion in revenue. They probably also made $79 billion in profit. They do have operating expenses. Just to be clear, revenue and profit aren't the same. Profit levels are different as well. First order is generally paying employees, vendors, etc. Second level would be rent, electricity, water, etc. Likely third and fourth levels with a company this size, which would be corporate side, bonuses, etc. Just to put it into perspective, I'm assuming it's extremely expensive to run Walmart prior to paying the board. 'Cause nobody is stopping them? They don't pay minimum wage in the state that I live in. Minimum wage here is $7.25 an hour, and as far as I know Walmart pays at least $15 now. Even before the pandemic I think they were paying close to $15 here. I had a bunch of high school friends that went to work there after they stopped drug testing for cannabis. Because they can. And that's it. A longer reason would describe the modern capitalist machine. Each manager is incentivized based on their peers. Up to store managers. Up until the CEO is paid bonuses based on share price. Capitalism is fantastic at producing as much wealth for as little cost as possible. Computers and modern information technology has made this process more efficient. And the owners take as much of this wealth for themselves as possible because they can. If society mandated $20 per hour minimum wage, Walmart would be fine. Prices would go up a minuscule amount, and everyone in society would do better. If the wealthy shareholders paid their share in taxes, and we invested that money in basically healthcare and universal prec, then literally everyone in society would benefit. We live in the richest country in the world. There is more than enough money for everyone who worked a full 40-hour workweek to have adequate nutrition, shelter, and live a dignified life. There is more than enough. And, actually, society produces so much stuff that literally helps no one. See Defense Department. That we could, as a society, have plenty for everyone and work 15-hour weeks. Economists from 70 years ago predicted, with productivity gains we experience, 15-hour work weeks would be possible by the year 2000. Thus, anti-work. Simple answer is because they have no reason not to pay minimum wage. They get the results they're willing to accept paying the amount they pay. Some places pay more because they can differentiate on service or because they've run the numbers and end off better off in terms of employee productivity, turnover. Some places either don't bother experimenting with this or feel that they would be better off staying at minimum. It tends to happen when companies have market power. A big box retailer that's the only show in town can often afford to do whatever it wants. Where are workers, shoppers going to go instead? Because people will work there to continue to make billions in profit. It rhymes with greedy gunts. Because they can. That's it. That's the answer. Because they don't want to make $572.7 billion United States dollars. Because revenue does not equal profit? Granted, I am sure their profit was enough to justify increased labor costs, but profit is what you want to post about, not revenue.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.